So there have been many videos made on this topic, and that's because it's really quite important and increasingly relevant. You know, there are so many people who go to university these days that wouldn't have a generation ago or even a few years ago. And this is in spite of tuition fees rising to such an extent that I don't even know the value of them right now. They were considerably less when I was at university. I just wanted to highlight that, going to university isn't a right. It's not really a prerogative, though it may seem so for many privileged people, and their parents may think it is. And, many people don't really think twice about whether they're going to university. They just think what they're going to study at university and where they're going to study. It's just taken as a given, really, that they're going to go by their teachers and their parents and their friends and everything. And the problem arises when they actually don't want to go. And what do they say? And I don't really have any explanation for that. I don't really have any solution for that. Because I did want to go to university and I was able to afford it thanks to my parents. But it just seems it's such a steep price to pay. It's just getting higher and higher and fewer jobs, and you have to really ask yourself these days whether it's worth it, whether it's worth going into debt for, or your parents going into debt for. I'm not entirely sure that it is. This is very controversial, but certain subjects, especially vocational stuff, nursing, medicine and all that, they will most likely lead to a job, and maybe they are more worth pursuing, because you can pay off your debts at the end of it, and you will get a job at the end of it, because so many people who go to university, because there's so many people going, and it's increasingly competitive, and you have to get a certain grade to get certain jobs and things, and there's no guarantee of the job at the end of it, and you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Because education is not priceless, it's not true, and it's not the be-all and end-all, and I think it proves very little to have a degree. And maybe you'll say, oh, it's easy for me to say, I've got 5 degrees, just quit my PhD at Oxford. That would have been my 6th, and it's not because I'm jobless at the end of it. I've had a number of jobs. Lots of people forget that to get these jobs you need a certain level. You need, for many of these professions, you need to get at 2-1, and it's the kind of thing people don't really know when they start uni. Not really aware of that, sort of ignorant about it, really. Don't really do much research into jobs usually when you're applying to get into university. You take one hurdle at a time. I think people need to make more videos about this, just to sort of increase awareness and things like that. Parents might not be pleased, and that is something to consider. Uni gives you a great time for many people, not for everyone, and sometimes sort of an anticlimax, or people don't get on with their friends, or they feel really lonely and isolated and depressed and all that at university. But for me, I had a great time, had the time of my life. I feel it was priceless, but I wasn't paying for it. There are some good jobs out there for people who don't go to uni, who have good A levels and things like that, and I feel that they're being overlooked, massively overlooked. There's this idea that having an education, having a university degree gives you status, things like that, and I can't deny that. In many circles it will give you status, and you have to ask whether that's important to you. If it's not even if it's not important to you right now, it may be important to you 10 years down the line or whatever. So I'm not really saying don't go to uni unless you're going to do a vocational degree. I'm just saying think about it if that applies to you. Think about it really carefully. Don't go into it blindly like my generation did. My generation, I'm 30 years old. Not exactly really old, but it's 2014. I'm 30, and it was different at my time. It was cheaper. It was easy to get in to all types of courses. Things have changed, and you need to reassess things, I think, and not just put all your faith in your parents and do what they say. Think about whether it's right for you, whether you want to spend the next 3 years studying that one subject, or whether you're more of a practical person. I'm not a very practical person, I'm more academic, so it suited me fine, and I would go back and do the same degrees probably, if I had the chance to do so again. So anyway, hope that made sense. Bye.